It is that time. I haven't done a pros and cons of Oshawa in so long. So for everybody who's looking to move to Oshawa and you want to know the good and the bad, this will be a video that will explain all of that. I'm going to do my pros and I'm going to do it down at the south by the waterfront. And then I'm going to do my cons north down by the university. And why am I doing the cons in the north, which is supposed to be like the best area of Oshawa? You're gonna have to stick around and find out. So we'll just kind of jump right into the pros. Number one pro would be affordable housing. So Oshawa, tons of people over the years had been moving to Oshawa just because it was one of the cheaper areas within the Greater Toronto area, especially if you're going to take a look at the GO Transit and like along the transit line to see what the average house price was. And just for so long, Oshawa was so cheap. Tons of people were moving here mainly because of affordability. And what that did is areas like Lakeview Park, where I am right now, well, I'm actually at the Garden of Human Rights, which is an amazing park that they've done here. In the south, it actually cleaned it up because everybody who was moving to Oshawa from Toronto, Mississauga, Brampton, who didn't know Oshawa and they were using out-of-town realtors, were buying in the Lakeview because it was so cheap, not realizing it wasn't the greatest of areas. And all that did is it just kind of cleaned it up by accident to the point now where it's actually not that bad of an area anymore, which is amazing because when you are close to the waterfront, you should be in a nicer area because the waterfront is really nice to be able to be around. So that's affordable housing. And let's just jump on to our next pro. Pro number two has to do with the schools. So the grade schools are working on getting better. We haven't had Fraser rankings since 2019. So hopefully when they do update these, which they should be doing it any month now, you'll see Oshawa's scores kind of increase a little bit. But we do have a lot of post-secondary schools. So we have Ontario Tech University, we have Durham College, there's Trent University remote campus, Queen's University remote campus, there's the Oshawa Flight School. So you just have like a tons of different post-secondary options, and that's why Oshawa's population has grown so much, because we have people coming from all over the world to take advantage of the post-secondary education that's here. As an international student, from what I've been told, it's super expensive to do that, but it's one of those things that it is an option for those looking to move here, and that's really helped put Oshawa on the map, especially with the 407 kind of being extended. It just really helped, and that's really good to see. Pro number three has to do with employment. So there is a lot of jobs that are within the Durham region, specifically in the Oshawa area. We have General Motors, which is right in the south part of Oshawa, but then you have the hospital that's here as well, a major employer, and then the schools. So you have two school boards, you have the Catholic school board and you have the public school board. Both those school boards do employ a lot as well. And then it is very commutable. So you have a lot of people who are living in Oshawa and they're commuting downtown Toronto or working remotely. So it's good with that. And then in terms of part-time jobs or jobs for students, there are so many jobs for students. There's a lot of students looking for those jobs, but there are a lot of jobs for students. And that's just because of all the students that have come here. People are opening up restaurants and businesses to kind of cater to that. So you have a lot of fast food, takeout, grocery stores, all that kind of stuff, especially on the north end down by the schools. You do have a lot of like part-time or jobs that cater to students. So yeah, definitely the job scene that is here is something that has increased a lot. Another huge pro has to do with access to nature. So we're here at the Garden of Human Rights, which is an amazing waterfront kind of development that they've done here just for quiet. And I guess what it stands for as well. You have the Waterfront Trail, which is along the south part of Oshawa that can take you right from where we are in Oshawa now all the way to Pickering, and you'll be We'll be riding the trail system kind of right through to Pickering, so it's definitely nice that way. And then you're close to conservation areas, which would be in the North Whitby or South Whitby. You go north Oshawa, and then you can be close to like farmland, green space, that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely the nature that's within Oshawa is a huge plus. There's still a lot to kind of explore through Oshawa, and it's a huge plus for those that can move here. So the nature system, nature trails, and just kind of what there is to look at is a huge plus. Before we get too much into it, I just kind of wanted to show you like the park, the waterfront that's here, and just kind of you'll be able to see behind me a little bit. It's a very pretty waterfront, and it's definitely somewhere you could take the family and walk around. My name is Brad Gates, and I am a local realtor here in the Durham region. I've helped families move to pretty much Bowmanville all the way to Pickering, even Toronto, even further. But it's all because of these videos, and I really love that. So if you're looking for that help move into the greater Toronto area, all you have to do is call, text, email. I can't move my hand to do the carrier pigeon, so you'll just have to kind of imagine I've done that. But yeah, I've helped so many people, and I absolutely love that. And again, we're just at the Waterfront in Oshawa right now, and I just wanted to show you around. Let's get back into the video. Now that we've gotten all of the pros, well, not all of them, but my pros out of the way, we'll jump to the cons. Con number one has to do with commuting. If you are commuting to Oshawa or from Oshawa to downtown Toronto, you have the 401 you're going to deal with, and that's not good. You're either dealing with construction or snowstorms. So there's always traffic on the 401. Sometimes you get lucky, but you can never bank too much on that. You do have the GO station, which is the GO train, sorry, which is at the south at Thornton Road and the 401 area, which can get you to Union in about an hour or so. So you do have that option as well. And then at the beginning, I did mention why I would be filming the cons in the north side. So I figured maybe you've been watching long enough. So the reason I've just been hearing a lot of bad stuff that's been happening on the north now, where it was typically downtown or south. And now when you hear the news, shootings or stabbings, it's on the north section, and it's just been extremely overpopulated on the north side due to the students, due to the condo that's been going up. So you just have a lot of people, and anytime you have a lot of people, you're gonna have an increase in crime, and that's kind of like no way around that. So it's kind of like one thing I've noticed in the Relocating Plaza that's up there. My wife, she was telling me that a lot of the mom groups and stuff, they're talking about like trafficking that's going on there. So it's like my wife won't even go to that plaza. We do live in Whitby, but yeah, that's just something that I just wanted to share with everybody in terms of kind of like what I've been hearing. So yeah, let's get back onto the cons. Con number two has to do with just the weather. And this is gonna be a con for pretty much most of Ontario, but the winters can be harsh. So if you're moving to Oshawa from outside of Canada, just brace yourself for that. Maybe come in the summer so you can ease into it a little bit, so you don't just come into the winter, because if you're coming from somewhere warm, the winters can be cold. The wind can make that cold even worse. So yeah, huge con for people outside of Canada that's moving here is just the weather, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows about that. The third con, and it's something that's been getting better, but it's still, if you're gonna compare it to places like Toronto, it'd never get that good. And I've even heard people say Toronto's is bad, but it has to do with public transit. So we have the Durham Region Transit that's here. You do have buses that kind of run on the main roads. So they do run often, but you are noticed that they do get busier now compared to what they were. So the schedules have increased. There's more buses on the road, but it's still extremely busy. And depending on where you live, you want to live close to a main road, because if you don't, it's going to be hard for you to actually catch the bus stop, especially if you don't live close to it. One positive has to do with Oshawa. They've put a lot of scooters, so you're seeing a lot of scooters on these main roads, and it's just allowed people to catch bus stops, and they can use these scooters, but you do have to pay for them. I'm not exactly sure how much it costs for that, but yeah, so this con has to do with just the transit system. It's not bad, but it's not great. So if you're going to compare it to like Toronto, where it have the subway or the streetcar and then buses and all that, we just have buses, and then we have Uber and the cabs as well. So that was that con. Our fourth con has to do with a lot of industrial areas. So when you're driving through Oshawa, you're close to the university, let's just say on Conlin, you're going to be driving and you'll notice an Amazon fulfillment center, huge warehouse. And then you go to Ritson and Taunton, and then you have an asphalt factory. You go close to the lake and you drive through a lot of industrial areas, especially around Stevenson Road by GM. So there's just a lot of industrial where when you're driving through, it doesn't look the best, especially when you're going to the waterfront, depending on which road you take. You do have to drive through kind of a major industrial area to get there. If you go down Ritson, you can go down more of the residential side, but you do notice that the area of Oshawa does have a lot of industrial areas, and if you're driving through, you kind of know what I mean. Our final con has to do with the increased homelessness population. I was talking to a bylaw officer going on last summer now, and I asked, like, you know, what has been happening, and he said, like, before COVID, there was 150 people they had record of that were being homeless in downtown Oshawa, or Oshawa as a whole. And once COVID happened, and later on as of last summer, that number had jumped to over 300. And he said, like, the main reason is it's just because of the resources that Oshawa has for people, affordable housing, and then that kind of thing. But kind of the negative of that is it's all seemed to be in one area, which is Memorial Park, downtown Oshawa, at like the Simcoe and Olive area, a little bit north of that area. But yeah, you'll just notice that whole downtown section from King south down to about Olive. It's just you'll have an increase in homelessness, and you'll have the pharmacies that help with providing safe drug paraphernalia, I don't know what you call it. So you have that. You have Cornerstone, which is like a halfway house, that kind of stuff. So everything is just right there. Soup kitchens, churches that help out as well, food banks, everything right downtown. And that's just made that one little pocket of area have an increase in homelessness. And people from outside of Oshawa have been coming as well, because just Oshawa is helping people. And that's great, and their heart's in the right place, but it's just making it where the crime has been increasing, and the downtown section is just somewhere that people just don't really like to go anymore. Now, one plus or pro that I will give the north section has to do with it really putting Oshawa on the map. So you look at the university that's here, and I only found out about Oshawa pretty much because my wife was going to university here. And so I'm one of many people, especially like all these students that you're seeing here, they're only coming to Oshawa because the school that's here. They're coming to Canada and they're coming to Oshawa right away. So that's a huge plus, and I just didn't want that one to go unnoticed. Well, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I have helped so many people looking to move here, and I absolutely love that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are moving to the area, because I just help provide information in terms of what the area in Oshawa, Whitby, Ajax, Pickering, even Toronto sometimes, is all about. And so if you want that help, all you have to do is watch the videos. If you want even further help, reach out. You can call, text, email, send a carrier pigeon, whatever is easiest for you. And I'm just here to make everything go so much easier. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the other videos on my channel as well. And until next time.